London is that this has like been the fifth year now where I've been able to bring my two Govardhan Shilas as well as my deed of Gopishwara Mahadev, a Shiva Lingam, that actually was acquired from the Radha's boutique here at Soho Temple. I mean, that's another story, but I bring my two Govardhan Shilas and the Gopishwara Mahadev now. It becomes an annual part of the Govardhan Puja at the Soho Temple. And it's appropriate. It's nice. They allow that to happen. Now, the reason I bring that up is because Prabhupada's appearance day every time happens just a few days before Govardhan Puja. And there is the story of he wanted to go in the bullock cart around Govardhan Hill. And Lokanath Swami and others saying, yes, we have to allow Prabhupada, this is his wish. He wants to go on Govardhan Parikram. Then the other devotees were saying, no, his body's so frail, and the bullock cart would just jostle him around. He'll have a heart attack and he'll die. And so they had these two camps. One camp of devotees saying, we can't follow Prabhupada's orders. The other camp saying, what are you talking about? He's our guru. We have to follow him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. What do you do? Do you follow his orders? Do you not follow him? But the devotees approached Prabhupada. Prabhupada, I'm basically paraphrasing, but the story is there. But Prabhupada, with so much anxiety, if we take you around Govardhan Hill, you may leave your body. But then Prabhupada, this is part of his final teachings, part of his final teachings before he left his body. He said, yes, if I leave my body, what a glorious death. In other words, he was in his own interminable way, he was glorifying Giriraj and the importance of Giriraj. What a glorious death for him to have left his body if he had gone around Govardhan Hill. Of course, we know the story. He didn't do that. He passed away in another glorious way with his disciples chanting all around him. But for me, it solidified in my mind, yes, Prabhupada's talked about Govardhan Hill in different ways in KrishnaBook, Nectar of Instruction, very explicitly says how important Govardhan Hill is, but it's actually a very esoteric topic. It's not easily understood. It's just a mound of rocks. And the Govardhan Shil is basically a stone. It's a rock. And of course, it's nicely decorated and elaborately worshipped, but it's a rock nonetheless. But within that Govardhan Hill worship, within Govardhan Shila worship, the whole Vraja Mandala, Vraj Bhakti manifests. So this is one of Prabhupada's last teachings before he passed away. He emphasized it. He was pulling at the heart strings of his devotees. He knew what he was doing. He was saying, well, what are they going to do? Are they going to follow my instructions? Or are they going to say, Prabhupada, we can't do this. You'll die. And then you say, yes, but if I do die, what a glorious death. So, like I said, it never came to pass that he did that. That would have been quite a different story of Prabhupada's ending. But still, the instruction remains. What a glorious death it would be if I were to leave my body on Govardhan Parikram for Govardhan Puja. That's what they were trying to arrange for Govardhan Puja. So a few days after Govardhan Puja, then he leaves his body. Similarly, it's interesting also, by Krishna's arrangement, Prabhupada's born the day after Janmashtami. So he has that strong correlation, his birth and Janmashtami, and his death around Govardhan Puja time, Diwali time. It'll always be associated with in that way forever, going into the future. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say, unless someone wants to ask any questions on that.
It's so nice to know about some of these things, Prabhuji, because it's such an ocean. So many things have happened when Prabhupada was there. It's very difficult to comprehend everything that has happened, but it's only through devotees.
Yeah, because it's also, as I'm thinking about, it's also important to remember at that time in the movement, there were no Govardhan Shilas on any altars on any temples in ISKCON. It did not exist. Now they're everywhere, especially in India. Okay, but so Prabhupada didn't allow it to happen. That came in after Prabhupada left. It was basically established by Jananivas.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Anyway,
we had no idea.
These are some details, but this when it comes to Prabhupada's passing, this is one of the things I always remember, and I try and talk to the devotees about it. That Prabhupada, one of Prabhupada's last emphasis, one of his last teachings was the importance, the glories of Giri Govardhan, Govardhan Hill.
Wonderful.
Not simply found a box.
So nice to know, Prabhuji, because I mean, as we are progressing, there's so many things even we have no idea about. Some of these things like Golden Hill, and we never been part of any of this. So only when we see the celebrations happening in manner, then we get to know, like, okay, then, and now that we are doing Krishna Katha, we covered actually already about Golden Hill and how Krishna is protected the residents of Vrindavan from Lord Indra, who was trying to shower so much of the rains, and
that whole pastime was all that. Yeah, exactly.
Divine pastimes. And only when we get to know this, that's why Krishna Katha is so important. So we understand these Leelas so nicely. Otherwise, we would have no idea unless Prabhupada. And that's the reason why, again, we should thank Prabhupada, because he's given us this beautiful Krishna book, which is directly taken from Bhagavatam. So it's like we are reading Bhagavatam in a way that everything is taken from the Krishna book. So it's so divine that each and every Leela, and the whole purpose of the Leela is to give the faith about Krishna and how Krishna is always protecting and reciprocating to his devotees. And I think that's what should be our inspiration to grow to that stage, that way we always feeling that, yes, Krishna is always there for us. So, and that happens only when we associate with devotees and we engage in devotional service. That's when you can actually feel the divine listing of how Krishna reciprocates.
Krishna is always there for us. Krishna just reciprocates, but we always have to keep the ultimate goal clearly in mind. What is that goal? Vraj Bhakti. Go back to Goloka Vrindavan. Go back to Godhead. Oh, Godhead also includes Vaikuntha planets. And of course, from Vaikuntha planet, you can actually work your way up to Goloka Vrindavan. But in our lifetime, because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the teachings of the Goswamis, we have that opportunity to actually directly go back to Goloka Vrindavan.
Yes, Prabhuji, that should be the ultimate goal.
How rare is that? How fortunate, how unbelievable.
Yes.
Sometimes devotees would say Prabhupada gave the very highest essence of the knowledge of the Bhagavatam to the very most fallen Kali Yuga souls. And it's true.
Absolutely, Prabhuji.
So that sense of gratitude naturally develops when we think that way.
Yes, Prabhuji. Amoga Prabhu and Hemal Prabhu, like anyone wants to add anything before we just move on with our story?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, so beautifully saying Prabhuji. And also, so just Prabhuji, so I would like to check with Ramnasuku Prabhuji on. There is one little devotee, Bhakta Bhagavat. He is very small, I think 2 years or 3 years. He is very preaching Krishna conscious very nicely. He does kirtan and everything. Of course, you might be knowing that little Prabhuji. Have you come across Prabhuji?
What's his name again?
Bhakta Bhagavat. He's
Bhakta Bhagavat.
Yes.
Where is he situated? In the Manor or India? Where?
He's in India. He's 3 years old only, but he's doing so many things. But it appears that he might be one of our ISKCON devotees previously. Otherwise, he wouldn't have got that much of. Just was thinking he might be having some kind of comparisons of the qualities with the previous devotees. I felt like that. His name is Bhakta Bhagavat. He speaks Hindi, and he's a very small child, and his words are very divine. 3 years old only. He does mridang and kirtan and doing everything very nicely, chanting.
I think I've seen his videos. Very profound at 3 years of age. So much knowledge.
Definitely.
Well, that's just it. Actually, there are some extremely exalted souls in the Hare Krishna movement. Either it's children or teenagers or young men and women, and they'll be growing into more prominent positions as time goes on. But yes, some of these souls that are definitely being raised in Krishna consciousness, they're, who knows where they're coming from, what kind of activities they were performing in previous lives, most probably as devotees, and coming back as devotees to help preach Lord Chaitanya's movement. So yeah, this is such a beautiful philosophy to think like this, that this second and third generation of devotees, their families raising children in the Krishna consciousness movement can potentially produce amazing personalities.
Yes, Prabhuji. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita,
especially when you compare it to what Prabhupada had to deal with. In the West, there was just basically, Western hippies with so much Western conditioning and bad habits.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, to be born into Krishna consciousness and to have that opportunity to practice and to absorb Krishna consciousness at a young age, who can really understand where are these devotees coming from? Maybe they were previous devotees even in ISKCON, being born again back into ISKCON. We don't know.
Absolutely. Nice one, Amaga Prabhu. I do understand. I think I've seen those video of the small child, and it's beyond our comprehension, isn't it? How somebody so small could have so much of love and so much of knowledge and be so talented at that such a young age. I didn't know he was 3 years old, but yeah, definitely this is a small child. And that brings to our small child over here, Prabhuji. Yesterday I taken, as you can see, Yashoda in the Damodar on the altar, which I taken from Soha temple yesterday. Yeah, very nice to see Damodar over here.
Oh yeah.
I was just thinking, Prabhuji.
Is that them there on your little altar next to you?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, you can see at the altar this Damodar and Yashoda Damodar. Prabhuji, with your permission.
Prabhuji, just where can we get one of these? It's very beautiful.
Yes, yeah, I was just contemplating between two different deities, and I thought.
Can you hold it up close to the camera?
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji.
Beautiful. So divine.
Yeah, I was just mesmerizing. You can see the Leela itself in this beautiful deity of Krishna and Yashoda. You can see, Prabhuji? Yes.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Sanchita ji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanavad Pranam, all the devotees. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so two things. One is of course, we have Damodara month still going on till the 27th of this month. But again, along with that, we had the Govardhan Puja on Tuesday. I somehow managed to use my management skills and work from the temple because I was asked to do Go Puja. And at this very short notice, they couldn't even take a leave. So I just had to manage working from there for half a day. And then from afternoon onwards, I had to just then start doing the Go Puja. And we were asked to do till 4 o'clock, managed to do till 6 o'clock, about 10 Go Pujas. And it was
Only Krishna's powerful skills you can learn how to do half and half.
Yes, Hari Bol, and all glories to the technical service
Absolutely,
that we get.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
That is wonderful.
there's one thing I feel like, the other day also when we were serving some devotees who, Nitya Mataji and all, we were there in somebody's devotee's house. So we had to serve them. At the same time, we had to do our work as well. So we got our laptops to that devotee's house and we started serving them and taking them around. So we asked, like, we are doing this thing. I know we shouldn't be actually, but we are working from home and we are managing these multiple things. So Mata, she said very nice thing. She said, like, for a higher cause, it's okay to do, manage things like this, because there is a higher purpose that we are working towards. So many times we like to just see how we juggle and see like how best we can serve. And at the end of the day, the devotees were so happy because there were so many devotees who came from so far and they were so thankful. They were so worried whether they were not able to do Go Puja, but we managed. We said, like, no, we're going to do that, even though they were told that only 4 o'clock is last puja that they can do, but we carried on till 6 o'clock because devotees are more important than any time limit. So I think everything that we do in service, we get to know more realizations how important it is to serve Krishna's devotees, and anything that we can do to bring people closer to Krishna, because everything is an opportunity for us to give the message of Krishna. Because so when they were coming and doing the Go Puja, we introduced them. We got them to do the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We got them to do the mantra of Giriraj, Govardhan, because that was the day of Govardhan Puja. So we did that Govardhan Puja mantra. We did the Hare Krishna mantra. We did Vishnu Sahasranama. And then we did the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Nama. And we got them to introduce the Bhagavad Gita slokas as well. So I think as devotees, we use every opportunity that we get when we are serving to give that little message so that it will help the devotees to come closer towards Krishna. So every small endeavor, as Krishna Bhagavan says, Ananyas chintayantoma ye jana paryupashate tesham nityabhyuktanam yogashemam vahamyaham. So I did explain to them as well, like whenever we do engage in bhakti, Krishna also reciprocates. As he reciprocated to the residents of Govardhan and residents of Vrindavan and protected all of them from the fiery this thing of Indra. So yeah, so it was very blissful. I just wanted to, Ramnath Prabhuji, with your permission, is it okay, because it's a Damodar month, we'll do a bit of Damodar Astikam. I'll just do it.
Yes, as you like, that's fine.
Yes, Prabhuji. And for Yashoda Mata and Damodar we have, so we'll do it over here itself. Namamishwaram Sachetanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yashoda Viyulokaladavamanam Param Rustamachantato Drutya Gopya Rudantam Muhurnitram Yugmam Rujantam Karambojayugmena satankanetram Muhuswasakam patrirekanka Stitagraivam damodaram bhaktibadam Iti drikswalila vayananda kunde Swagosham nimajjantam akyapayantam Tadeyeshitagnishu bhaktai jitatvam Puna primatastam sata vriti vande Varam deva moksham na moksham vadim va Na chenyam vriniham varashadapiha Idam teva purnata gopala balam Sada me manashavirastam kimanye Idam te mukambojam atyanta nilay Vritam kuntalai snigdha raktaisya gopya Muhu chombitam bimba raktadaram me Manashavirastamalam Lakshalabe. Namo Deva Damodar Ananta Vishnu. Prasida Prabho Dukka Jalabdimagnam. Kripa Dristi Vrishyati Dinam Vatanu. Griha Nishamam Agnam Idikshadrisya. Kuberatmajo Baddha Mruchaiva Yadvat. Tvaya Mochitau Bhakti Bhajau Krutau Cha. Tata Prema Bhakti Swakame Prayacha. Namokshe Graho Mesti Damodareha. Namaste Stu Damne Spuradipti Damne. Tvadiyodarayata Vishwasya Damne. Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaye. Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam. Namaste Stu Damne Spuraditi Damne. Tvadiyodarayata Vishwasya Damne. Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaye. Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam. Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Yashoda Damodara Yashoda Damodara Radhe Radhe. Jaya Yashoda Damodara Yashoda Damodara Radhe Radhe. Jaya Yashoda Damodara Yashoda Damodara Radhe Radhe. Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Radhe. Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Radhe. Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Radhe. Damodara Stukam ki jai. Damodara Bhagavan ki jai.
Jay.
Jai. Hare Krishna.
Could I ask you in reference to the Go Puja? I just shared on the chat
Yes,
an image off the internet of Kamadenu,
yes.
who shows on the different parts of the cow, there's different devatas. So in the very front, actually, is Lord Shiva. Down there is on his nose is Ganesh. There's the
Yes.
sun and the moon close to his ears.
Yes, yes.
Interesting also, Lakshmi is close to the tail where the cow dung comes out because the cow dung is very valuable. Things like that. So it's very interesting. I wonder if you ever talk about these things, or if you were to have like a blow up of Kamadenu when you do the cow puja, you could also talk about these. This is auspicious to pet the cows in certain ways and understand that the devatas are manifesting in certain areas.
Definitely.
Have you ever thought about doing something like that? Because you're basically becoming the cow puja acharya, and that's fine. Yeah. And you can, do what you want with it.
Prabhuji, is actually, to be very honest, I don't know what Leela of Krishna Bhagavan that I'm not at all worthy of even doing a Go Puja, but I don't know how this whole thing came. When the Krishna Janmashtami, when I was asked to do, I only volunteered to offer grass to the devotees. And Krishna gave me a bigger service than that. And I really have no idea how this whole thing happened, but it came to me as a request saying, can you do that? Can you please handle this? But on this point that you mentioned, Prabhuji, I did mention that Mukota Devatas are there inside the cow. And normally we say that in millions of Devatas are there inside the cow is what we normally have our understanding in India. And we mentioned about that. But as you mentioned, Prabhuji, it is nice to even also be specific about, about Lakshmi Devi and about Ganesha and things like that. I think that will really give him, because devotees, when they come, they're very eager to know. They're very eager to know.
I think my point is you can further expand that service as a preaching service.
Yes.
And so the next time would be Janmashtami, But if you work with the cooperatively with the temple managers to find a suitable image on the internet that's high quality, high resolution, and see if you can get it blown up, get it laminated, whatever it takes. So then,
Yes.
then it will. Then you have a place to store it. You can use it for Janmashtami, Gopastami, and Govardhan Puja 3 times a year at least.
It's a very good idea, Prabhuji. I always support that. In fact, I was just thinking loud, what's the best way we could do that? Because it was raining on that day. And we were just saying, like, why don't we put a tent and just, because they made such a beautiful decoration, but we couldn't do anything. But this is a very good point that you mentioned, Prabhuji, just to give, and the devotion will really come through when they have more of.
Even if they can figure out how to get something like that laminated, they can get it put up close to the cows and people can see it. Absolutely. As they come to the Goshala.
Absolutely.
But, yeah.
Definitely, I'll just work with the Goshala team as well on this, Prabhuji. Definitely, it's a very good idea that you mentioned, and we will work towards this, Prabhuji. And as you said, I'm always open to that, because the more people see visually, they will really understand.
It helps. No, it definitely helps. Yeah.
Shyam Prabhu, once you know of it, or if you need my help in terms of the graphics or the lamination, yes, and all the costs bearing, just let me know. I'm happy to fund it and sponsor it.
Oh yeah, thank you, Himal Prabhuji. All our devotees, we just one family, and we're getting guidance from Ramnath Prabhu, and if there's anything that we can do. And again, as devotees, the whole idea is like we kind of like do the service and bring our devotees closer to Krishna, give them the knowledge why we do Go Puja. In fact, somebody was asking, Prabhuji, what do we get by doing that? So we just had to tell them this is what it is, and Krishna himself was there. These were
and the parents will love it. The children will be like, "Oh, I didn't know that, Daddy. Did you know that Lord Shiva was there on the forehead?" Or whatever. The point is, they'll get into it. They'll appreciate it even on a deeper level.
Absolutely, Prabhuji. I mean, I felt they introduced me as this is our Pandit and the Goshala team, and I felt very humble. Like I was like, I don't deserve this, Prabhu, but it's just coming.
This Pandit paints a picture paints 1,000 words, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a big thing.
I mean, I just went on the internet real quickly and I downloaded one image of Kamadhenu, but there's quite a few images. You figure out which one's a good one, a high resolution one, and then you work with it.
Definitely, Prabhuji. I'll definitely work on this, and I really want to, as you mentioned, Prabhuji, I'll see what more I can, apart from Janmashtami and Govardhan Puja. I'm really grateful to the Goshala team because they remembered me and messaged me saying that, can you come down and do this at a short notice? But I said, like, I'll do anything that it takes.
I think they're very grateful for you to be there as well. I mean, seriously, you have a good presence and interaction with the people. I'm sure they're very happy to have you there.
Yes, Prabhuji, whatever way that's why I said, like, what it doesn't matter. Even if I had to manage, I'll get my laptop and work from there. But I just didn't want to disappoint them. And I wanted to make sure that they have my support, because everything was happening so nicely. And even this Govardhan Puja was going on so well. And because what we did is, because it was raining, we had to literally do it under the Goshala where the cows are washed. They were there inside, and we went inside and watched. And because we were reciting the Vishnu Sahasranama and mantras, I was doing it in a very, very loud thing, because it's a small place and I had to do it. So there were so many people who were coming to feed the cows and who were just watching through the glass, and they were so keenly watching what's happening, what's this puja going on, and like that, so many people came actually to do puja. Say, can we do it also? I say, like, yeah, you can do it, so.
It's only possible if Krishna wants it, right? You got the possibilities, all glories.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, Shyam, is like, simply by doing this little service, you could say, well, it's a little service, but it's also Krishna now is allowing you to take it to another level, improve it, expand on it, and the devotees will.
Yes.
But you take that lead. You bring in your own vision, and you develop it.
Yes, definitely.
It's not simply, Go Puja.
Yeah.
It's a whole educational part of Krishna consciousness, and it becomes interactive, and then the families love it. Keeps them coming back more and more. The more they come back, the more they'll, hopefully take some books and read the books and get more involved.
Absolutely, Prabhuji. That's a very good points that you're mentioning. In fact, we are asking them to do the puja themselves, doing the arati themselves, and they're so happy to
Yes,
do that. And we are,
yes, I
and
think that is a great idea.
yeah,
Or at least have them pass around the ghee lamp.
yeah.
Children at a certain age can do that too.
Yeah. In fact, we are giving them the arti and asking them to do the arti, and we are circumambulating around the cow with the arti. So literally we run out of camphor because I was making it a point that they have this experience that everybody should personally feel. It's not some pujari doing this thing, but
You're using camphor or using ghee? What do you
camphor.
use?
Camphor, Prabhuji. That's what they're given to us. Like, they're given
Well,
camphor.
okay, again, this requires organization, but you have to be, the lead. You organize, I think it should be at least a ghee wick or two
Yeah.
and some camphor together. Because then you have the ghee. You're offering ghee to the cow rather
Yes.
than just camphor.
Prabhuji, that's another good idea. I'm taking note of all this that you are mentioning, all these good ideas, and we'll implement that, Prabhuji. We'll put ghee, and as you rightly said, that's how it should be. It should be like pure ghee, which is being offered, which is what
Yeah,
we.
of course, the himsa ghee, all that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, Prabhuji. In fact, we can do that. I mean, we can definitely in our way. That's how we can contribute actually to doing that. Yeah, I mean, the whole experience has been good, and we are making them chant as well, along with circumambulating Hare Krishna.
Yes, of course. Chant Hare Krishna, worship the cow. Very nice.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
Next year, I remind me, and I'll see if I can come join you and see what you're doing. I want to see it.
That would be a blessing, Prabhuji. That would be definitely a blessing.
Make sure he passes his exams.
I'm very curious to actually now, and that I'm thinking about it. This is actually a wonderful preaching opportunity that Sham has, and it can be. See, the mentality of a devotee, just like a pujari worshiping Krishna, the mentality is at least I have to maintain the standard that's already there.
Yeah.
But that's minimal. The real mentality is how do I improve it? How do I take it to another level?
Yes,
That's
yes.
Krishna Bhakti.
Yes, Prabhuji, absolutely. Because in our this thing from where Krishna is related, there are two things we are making sure to involve. One is like giving them the Bhagavad Gita knowledge as well, not just simply doing that, but telling them how Krishna reciprocates and reciting from Bhagavad Gita. So because Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Arjuna before the battlefield started. And after the battlefield was over, Yudhishthira was in the same situation as Arjuna. He was so depressed seeing everybody has died, and Dhritarashtra or Yudhishthira was totally depressed. And when he goes to Krishna, Krishna takes him to Bhishma, lying on the bow of arrows, and tells Bhishma, before you die, tell what is the highest dharma in life, and you tell this to Pandavas, and I want you to tell this to Yudhishthira. And that is when Bhishma recites these 1,000 names of Vishnu Sahasranama, which he got from all the ancient sages in their meditation. And those rishis give to Vyasadeva, and Vyasadeva gives it to Bhishma Pitama. And Krishna wanted Bhishma to reveal all these names before he died. And so when we're doing this Go Puja, we're doing two things. One is we are reciting Bhagavad Gita and telling them the significance of Bhagavad Gita. Second thing is I'm reciting the Vishnu Sahasranama, not completely 1,000 names because they won't have patience for that. So just at least I cover about 50 to 100 names. And so that at least they get an opportunity to recite, see both the, and Bhagavad Gita as well as this. So
yeah, and Vishnu is, if I remember on the chart, Vishnu is right there, and I'm like the main thigh part of the front leg of the cow. Anyway, you can.
Yeah,
I can see how this can develop into a really attractive preaching program. And,
yes, because
you can be, you'll become so popular, you'll need real assistance to keep it going.
One important thing actually I should mention, Prabhuji, for Indians, especially Gujarat, for everyone in India, cow is very, very dear, especially when they come to a Krishna temple. So that could be a point where we can preach Krishna consciousness very effectively, rather than people just coming and going and giving grass and going. But if they come to this Go Puja as well, that's another opportunity for us to educate and give more knowledge and take them to Krishna, Hare Krishna mantra as well.
There's so much can come of that, because in one sense, it's a little confusing. There's all these gods on the cow, but they can explain that we're not polytheistic. Actually, everything comes from Radha and Krishna. That's why we worship Radha and Krishna. So all these different Devata forms are ultimately expansions of Radha and Krishna, like that. And you dispel a lot of the ignorance that's already there within the Indian Hindu or even the Western community. Oh, those crazy Hindus are polytheistic. They worship all these gods. No, these are all ultimately expansions or expansions of the expansion of Radha and Krishna.
Absolutely.
So much Krishna can come of it. That's what I see. I like the idea.
Such a beautiful way you put it, Prabhuji. All expansions of Krishna and Radha and Krishna. If people get that knowledge.
And then you bring them right back to Radha Gokulananda. That's why we have Radha Gokulananda altar.
Absolutely. With your blessings, Prabhuji, we'll try to make it a more. Prabhuji, with your, I just wanted to give in this Damodara Astikam. Prabhuji, would you want to just, are you able to see if you can read that, Prabhuji? We'll go with the other ones as well.
You want to go through the prayers?
Yes, Prabhuji. The very, first ones, first, second, and third, maybe, and we will cover the other ones as well.
The English.
Yes, Prabhuji. You're able to see, right, Prabhuji? Yeah.
I can see. I have to get a little close. Do you want me to read it? I'll read it.
Yeah.
To the Supreme Lord, whose form is the embodiment of eternal existence, knowledge, and bliss, whose sharp-shaped earrings swinging to and fro, who is beautifully shining in the divine realm of Gokula, who, due to the offense of breaking the pot of yogurt that his mother was churning into butter, and then stealing the butter that was kept hanging from a swing, he is quickly running from the wooden grinding mortar in fear of Mother Yashoda, but who has been caught from behind by her, who ran after him with greater speed. To that Supreme Lord, Sri Damodar, I offer my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Amoga Prabhu or Hemal Prabhuji or Sanchit Mataji, anyone wants to read?
Yes, I can go. Seeing the whipping stick in his mother's hand, he is crying and rubbing his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes are filled with fear, and the necklace of pearls around his neck, which is marked with 3 lines like a conch shell, is shaking because of his quick breathing due to crying. To this Supreme Lord Sri Damodara, whose belly is bound not with ropes but his mother's pure love, I offer my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna. Sanchit Mataji, you want to take the third one?
Hare Krishna. By such childhood pastimes as this, he is drowning the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy and is revealing to those devotees who are absorbed in knowledge of his supreme majesty and opulence that he is only conquered by devotees whose pure love is imbued with intimacy and is free from all conceptions of awe and reverence. With great love, I offer my obeisances to Lord Damodara hundreds and hundreds of times. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Amoga Prabhu, do you want to read the fourth one?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for the boon of impersonal liberation, nor the highest liberation of eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon which may be obtained by executing the 9 processes of bhakti. O Lord, I simply wish that this form of yours as Balagopala in Vrindavana may ever be manifest in my heart. For what is the use to me of any other boon beside this? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anil Prabhu, do you want to read? Anil Prabhu?
Prabhuji, I'm just having difficulty seeing it on my phone screen at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, in the fifth one.
Pala Prabhu can read.
Pala Prabhu? Who?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Fifth.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah, please. Pala Prabhu, yeah, if you want to.
O Lord, your lotus face, which is encircled by locks of soft black hair tinged with red, is kissed again and again by Mother Yashoda, and your lips are reddish like the bimba fruit. May this beautiful vision of your lotus face be ever manifest in my heart. Thousands and thousands of other benedictions are of no use to me. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Pala Prabhu. Did you say you're able to? Are you able to, Prabhu? Anil Prabhu?
Yeah, it's too small on my screen at the moment. Sorry.
Okay, no problem.
I can go again, Shyam Prabhu.
Yeah, go ahead.
O Supreme Godhead, I offer my obeisances unto you, O Damodara, O Ananta, O Vishnu, O Master, O my Lord, be pleased upon me. By showering your grace, your glance of mercy upon me, deliver this poor ignorant fool who is immersed in an ocean of worldly sorrows and become visible to my eyes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. O Lord Damodara, just as the two sons of Kuvera, Manigriva and Alkuvera, were delivered from the curse of Narada and made into great devotees by you in your form as a baby tied with a rope to a wooden grinding mortar, in the same way, please give to me your own Prema Bhakti. I only long for this and have no desire for any kind of liberation. O Lord Damodara, I first of all offer my obeisances to the brilliantly effulgent rope which binds your belly. I then offer my obeisances to your belly, which is the abode of the entire universe. I humbly bow down to your most beloved Srimati Radharani, and I offer all obeisances to you, O the Supreme Lord, who displays unlimited pastimes. Damodarashtakam ki jai.
Jai.
This is one of the most beautiful songs that I ever liked, and the first time I remember hearing the Damodarashtakam, and I just felt it was such a beautiful song when everybody lighting the candles, and that I was like literally so much driven by. I think it was a wonderful moment. I remember when I heard about this. Prabhuji, I was just thinking, giving the time that we have, shall I just kind of like cover some of this one, and I want to just even put this Yadi Prabhupada and give, because today is the disappearance day of Prabhupada, and there's a beautiful song actually in memory of Prabhupada. Prabhuji, would you want me to put this right away?
What is this? What is it?
Prabhuji, is
Can
this?
you describe it?
Yeah, this is actually remembering Prabhupada saying that, Prabhupada, what would our lives be without you? What would we have done without you?
Is it Jayapataka Swami?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Let's do that.
Yes.
We can do change of pace. Why not? Okay.
Prabhu, we cannot hear it. Or is it only me?
I think it's a little difficult to transmit via Zoom like this. It's like too much information coming at once or something.
Prabhuji, is it okay? Is it okay, Prabhuji?
It's difficult for me to hear it now.
Oh, it's difficult to hear, is it, Prabhuji?
But do the other devotees, do they hear it?
Same. We can't hear properly. It's breaking.
It's difficulty. It's not. We cannot hear the entire verse.
Oh, is it? Okay. I didn't know that.
I think it's a difficult. It's a technical difficulty. Something.
Okay. Sorry about that, Prabhuji. This is actually I just wanted to put this in. Yadi. So this is a beautiful prayer which is actually been written by Jayapataka Swami and for Prabhupada.
Is there just the like the translation so we get the gist of what he's saying?
Yes, Prabhuji. That's what I'm.
Okay, so read that.
Yes, Prabhuji. If Srila Prabhupada had not come, what would have happened? How could we have passed our lives? Who else would have distributed the unlimited mercy of Lord Nityananda and Lord Gauranga all over the world? Which other compassionate person would have endeavored to deliver the miscreants, sinful, impersonalistic, and voidistic people in the West? Who else would have come to distribute Harinam to them? Who else would have come forward to transform them into civilized beings? Who else would have taught them how to worship the deity form of Lord Hari day and night with Arati, Kirtana, and how to conduct Rath Yatra and other grand festivals? Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita contain the essence of the nectarian mellow of the love of Godhead. Who else would have explained the scriptures so clearly and beautifully? Who else would have tolerated all difficulties and distributed Harinama with a pleasant heart? Who would have given us the Dhamma such as Mayapur, Vrindavan, and Jagannath Puri? The teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu constitute the greatest and the most auspicious treasure. Who else would have engaged us in constantly practicing and preaching it? Sri Sri Nitai Gaura are desiratories of love of Godhead, desiring a drop of their mercy. Jaipataka's heart, instant, takes shelter of your divine grace. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, that's the meaning of this,
the prayers.
this
The
prayer.
prayers are in Bengali.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, it's
Because he speaks
Bengali.
natural Bengali.
And as and as I think Jaipatak Swami, he knew about Bengali as well, so he's written this beautiful song. I'm sure like Sanchit Mataji can relate to this Bengali wording as well.
Yes, Prabhu, I can read it if you want and then go with the translation.
Yeah, please. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, today is this
Okay.
day, so let's.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. It's written here, but if you say in proper Bengali, like pure
Sure.
Bengali, then it's J. So like in Bengali they call it Jamuna, not Yamuna.
Okay.
So so it's Jodi Prabhupada na hoito tobe ki hoito e jibone bohito kishe. I mean, of course, we know the meaning. Like, if we could hand this out, like, if Prabhupada was not there, then what would have happened? Nitai Gaurera Apura Koruna Ke Dito Shakala Deshe. So maybe with this, maybe Prabhupada, Prabhu, you can go down and then we can discuss it. Like, yeah. So Jayapataka Maharaj is saying, if Srila Prabhupada had not come, what would have happened? Jodi Prabhupada na haito, taba ki hoito. How could we have passed our lives? Who else could have distributed the unlimited mercy of Lord Nityananda and Gauranga all over the world? Bro, can you scroll up, please?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, on the first verse, yeah, and the second verse.
Yeah.
I did the first verse, like the Bengali one. Second verse, can
you not see that? I mean,
no, it's yeah, okay, yeah, no. So the last line of the first verse said, Gaur Nitayar Apura Karuna Ke Dito Shakula Desha, like all over the countries of the world, who would have given the Kripa, or the Karuna, the mercy of Gaura and Nitai? So that was the first verse. And the second verse says, Paschatera Joto Papi Durachari, Shunyavadi Mayavadi Tader Uddhare Koribe Mana Hena Kono Daya Nidhi. So in the West, he's saying, like, as Prabhupada came in the West to do the spread Krishna consciousness. So it says Paschatya Desh means like in the West. So many, like, the mlechas, as they say, Papi Durachari, the miscreants, Shunyavadi, Mayavadi, all these, like, who would have Tader Uddhar Koribe Mana Hena Kon Daya Nidhi. If Prabhupada was not there, who would have lifted up these beings from he had given he has given shelter to so many of his disciples, and like from the West. So he said, who Tadera Uddhare Koribe, who would have done this? So yeah, second verse, like, we can do the meaning, or I can just
you can go ahead with I covered the meaning actually.
Okay. Tadero nikote kon jono ashi bilaite harinam সভায় জীব রূপ গদিতে তাদেরও কে হইতো অনুজ্ঞান. So I mean, he's saying about these like people like mlechas, the miscreants and all. So who would তাদেরও নিকট, I mean, who would have come near them to spread Harinam and to spread the names, glories of Jiva Goswami and Rupa Goswami and their teachings. And then fourth thing says, Deshe Deshe Hori Vigraha Seba Arati Ratri Dine Ratha Yatra Mahotsav Shaba Shikaite Kon Janam. So if Prabhupada was not there, who would have taught us Hari Vigraha, like, deity worship?
Yeah.
And Arati means morning Arati, Mangal Arati, and evening Arati, Gaur Arati. And Rath Yatra Mahotsav, who would have taught all this? That's the fourth verse. It's so beautiful, really. Ita Bhagavad Chaitanya Charitamrita Premamrita Rasha Sara Katha na Sundara Sarala Koriye Bujaito Kara. So, of course, this you can understand, like Jayapataka Maharaj is mentioning that Gita, Bhagavad, Chaitanya Charitamrita, all these rasas of all these books, who would have, like, as beautifully as Prabhupada has done, like, if he was not there, who would have explained this to the entire world? So that was the fifth one. Sixth one says, Koto Koshta Shohi Prita Mone Rohi Ke Ba Dito Hori Nam Ke Dito Modero Puri Brindaban Mayapur Moto Dham. So this one says, if he had not taken the pain to spread this glories of Harinam, then who Modero Dito? I mean, who would have given us? Modero means to us. Vrindavan, Mayapur, Moton Dham. Matlab, like, I mean, dhams like Vrindavan and Mayapur, the glories of those dhams, who would have spread if Prabhupada had not taken the pain to spread the Harinam Sankirtan movement? And the seventh verse says, Parama Mangala Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhura Shiksha Dan Achare Prochare Shoda Amadere Korite Niyojan. So he's saying, like, the glories of Paramamangala of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his siksha, his teachings, like he's spreading that movement and he's giving that gyan, like he's making arrangements, Niyojan, Karita Niyojan, I mean, he's making arrangements to give that knowledge to us. And the last one is, Prema Kalpataru Nitai Gorera Kripa Kono Lobhibare Nirobadhi Jaya Pataka Hriday Tumara Sharana Kare. So, yeah, it's like the Prema Bhakti of Gaur Nitai and their Kripa. So, to get that mercy, this of course, Jayapataka, because, all these great poets and Vaishnavas, when they write, they leave their signature with their name, like Nartam Das Thakur or Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So, they say their name. So, here also Jayapataka Maharaj, he's written like Nira Badhi. Matlab, I mean, he's saying, Jayapataka Maharaj is saying that to get this mercy of Gaur and Nitai, countless mercy, Jayapataka Hriday is waiting to get your lotus feet.
Oh, wonderful. I mean, I think, Sanjay, thank you so much for reciting this, because we wouldn't have got the flavor of it unless, because you recited in Bengali, and we could understand how beautiful it is. Like when the way you recited it, we definitely wouldn't be able to do it in that way. It's totally by the English words, so you'd never be able to recite like that. Thank you so much for
that. Thank you, Prabhu, getting that little service, like doing for Prabhupada and his disciples. That it's his mercy. And of course, like, it was Krishna's arrangement that the song you had put, the same song, it did not work. We could not hear.
Yes.
And as Amoga Prabhu always says, like, the Sanskrit, when we actual literature, whether it's any language, with any regional language, with Sanskrit, Bengali, or the South Indian, whichever language it is, when it's written, whoever is the poet or the author writing it, that flavor, as much as we put, even of course, Pataka Maharaj has written the English translation. I'm guessing he must have done it as well himself. But in doing so much of the rasa, like especially the last line, how he's saying, like, to get this prema bhakti, like Jayapataka Hriday, he wants to have the lotus feet. I mean, you can go to the English one, and of course you can see, but I don't think it translates so beautifully.
Yeah,
And he wants, like, Nira Badhi. I mean, of course he was not well, so he's expecting that, like, bit of good health, but at the same time to get the lotus feet, like, for lifetime.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sanchit. I mean, you really added a lot of.
This is Bengali poetry by a sadhu, and every time the poetry has great meaning, mostly in its own language. As soon as you try to translate it, there's a certain emphasis that gets lost in the translation. That's why Prabhupada made the comment. He said, in the future, people will learn Bengali just to read Chaitanya Charitamrita, to get the real essence and the flavor,
Yes.
rather than to read a translation into English of the Bengali, just really to get the nectar, squeeze out as much nectar as possible. They would take the trouble to learn Bengali just to read Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, it's poetry.
Well
It's
said.
poetry.
Even the Gaur Arati we hear, the Gaur Arati,
Yes.
the Bengali, I mean, first time when I heard it, it had tears in my eyes. Like, had goosebumps really. Like how, like somebody can do a great Vaishnava, like to do it, translate in such a, I mean, write in such a way. I mean, as if he's able to see the entire scene, like how it's being beautifully described in Bengali. Of course, the English translation is there, but it's not the same flavor when we read it.
Not the same. Exactly. That's my point. It's there. It's helpful, but if you know Bengali, then it's much more powerful. What can you say?
Prabhuji, a few years back, I did sing this song in Akshri Sangha, but then hearing Sanchit Machi so nicely reciting in Bengali, I'm sure this is nowhere like how I would have sung it. Because there's a different way in which the whole the way it is recited. So yeah, you really given us a flavor of this beautiful poem that, the song that Japatak Swami, as Maharaj just mentioned about Prabhupada. And it's absolutely, I think we know that this is what the essence of it, how much Prabhupada has given us. We never in my life did we ever think that we will talk about Bhagavad Gita, Krishna Katha, everything, and including the festivals and Rath Yatra. Everything has been so nicely been given and delivered for us to follow. All we had to do is just follow the instructions of Prabhupada. So I think today, this week being very auspicious, that we have Damodar month, the month of Damodar. At the same time, we have even Govardhan Hill Puja. So as Ramnath Prabhu, you nicely mentioned about some of these things relating to the Govardhan Puja and Giriraj, as well as Prabhupada has mentioned about this. And also we covered Damodar Ashtakam and the remembrance of Prabhupada, as today is the day when Prabhupada has blessed his body. So, and one of the important mantra that I have come across in this week, which I wanted to recite: Namaste Giri Rajaya Sri Govardhana Namine Ashesha Klesha Nashaya Paramananda Dayine. Namaste Giri Rajaya Sri Govardhana Namine Ashesha Klesha Nashaya Paramananda Dayine. Which means I offer my respectful obeisances to Giri Raja. His name is Govardhan. He takes away all of one's miseries and instead gives one the highest ananda, the highest bliss, which is Paramananda. This is a prayer. And this is what we were just doing it during the Govardhan Puja day. So I just wanted to share about this. And also just wanted to ask, since we just... Hi, Hare Krishna Malay-ji. Thank you for joining. Prabhuji, for this week, because we just crossed 9/6. I just wanted to ask if you want to cover a bit, or shall we just do it next week only? We were just actually, Prabhuji, we just covered Kamsa Sen Sakrura to bring to Krishna. So we just covered in that. I just wanted to ask if whether you want to, shall we just recap and just start a new chapter next week itself? Because we just been more than 9 o'clock. Just want to ask everyone's.
Yeah, I think that would be best.
We'll cover next week, Prabhuji. We'll start off with a new chapter. We covered last week. We just covered about how Kamsa is trying his plan to kill Krishna, by sending Akrura to bring Krishna and Balaram to Mathura. And he was also arranging for, this elephant trainers and those people so that he can get the elephants to stamp Krishna. So he's devising all his demoniac plans to bring Krishna to Mathura and kill him. So, but we will cover that chapter next week, just being, respectful for everybody's time during the weekday. But I think for today, we're being such an important day that for our Guru, Prabhupada, who has given us so much of knowledge and so much of bhakti life for us to follow. I think today is definitely a remembrance day for us to remember Prabhupada as he left. Today was the day when he left. And as Krishna Bhagavan mentions in Bhagavad Gita, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshana, where Krishna says that one should approach a spiritual master and one should inquire from the spiritual master, and the spiritual master, being a representative of Krishna, will give us all the knowledge and will give us all the bhakti which will help us go back to Godhead and go back to Krishna. So we are so fortunate that we have Prabhupada in our lives, and Prabhupada is Vani and Vapu, two important things. And even though Prabhupada's disappearance has happened, we still have the beautiful collection of all entire knowledge in the form of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, as you can see on the altar. So like this, by Vani, just by Shravanam and hearing all Prabhupada's lectures, Prabhupada's knowledge, which has been passed on through different audios. And this is a beautiful service that Prabhupada disciple have done. They have recorded each and every translation or every conversation that has happened with Prabhupada and every lecture that has happened. So we have an ocean of knowledge there. We just have to tap into that to get Prema Bhakti of Krishna. Prabhuji, please correct me if there's any. This is when, so we should keep this session very special, that we are just remembering Prabhupada. Such much. Ramana Prabhuji, is anything you want to add to that?
Well, I mean, there's so many things if you want to talk about Prabhupada. One thing's just coming to mind. Of course, Srila Prabhupada's the founder Acharya of ISKCON. And throughout Prabhupada's books, he mentions the various literatures of the Goswamis and other Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas, so that we understand that we are meant to actually continue our education. Yes, first absorb ourselves in Prabhupada's books, but that doesn't stop there, especially for those who are Brahminically inclined, studious. You keep reading. You read also into the works of the Goswamis. The BBT has translated, with the help of Gopi Paranadhana Prabhu, the Brihat Bhagavatam Rita of Sanatana Goswami. It was a fantastic contribution, but there's so many other literatures. There's the two plays of Rupa Goswami, Vidagdha Madhava, Lalita Madhava. These are plays. They're meant to be ultimately made into actual dramas for the education and edification of Krishna Bhakti by devotees. I mean, it's just unlimited literatures. That's my point. If you're looking at what the tradition is, it's all about furthering your knowledge, furthering your understanding, going deeper and deeper into the tradition. And I think I was mentioning to Sham the other day in doing research into Shiva Tattva that I was looking at Vidagdha Madhava, and in the introduction by Rupa Goswami, he gives the reason why he wrote it. And he basically says that, well, guess what? Lord Shiva came to me in a dream, and he said, I've got to write this book. I've got to write this drama, because Lord Shiva is telling Rupa Goswami in the dream that there's many elevated devotees who are feeling this mood of separation from Krishna, and to relieve their anxiety and their pangs of separation, Lord Shiva is telling Rupa Goswami, write this play. And he's telling Rupa Goswami, don't worry, I'll empower you. And that's basically the dream. Then Rupa Goswami wakes up from the dream and says, yes, I have to do this. and he refers to Lord Shiva there as Jagat Guru, the guru of everyone, or the guru of the world. So to us, Rupa Goswami is the supreme guru, and he's saying his supreme guru is Lord Shiva, who instructed him in writing Vidagdha Madhava. So my point is, it gets into this otherworldly realm of how these pure devotees think and how they became inspired and how all these literatures came about on this completely transcendental platform that is unimaginable to us. So Prabhupada didn't write these, but he personally wrote his Nectar of Devotion and Nectar of Instruction, Upadeshamrita, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. These are the main books that he wanted his disciples to read. And of course, we read them, we study them. And they are the essential books. But my point is, when we really get to understand Prabhupada and appreciate Prabhupada and feel that intense gratitude to what Prabhupada has given to us, we even go above and beyond what Prabhupada has given to us and try, if we're so inclined, to even broaden as much as we can our understanding of this true wealth of this tradition of Chaitanya Vaishnavism. It's so deep, it's so vast, as far-reaching and how deep you want to go. It's up to the individual, but it's basically never-ending. It's a lifetime of commitment to study.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So that's one thing.
Thank you, Prabhuji. That's so true. So much to read and know and develop knowledge and hear from devotees. Amaga Prabhu, anything?
And the point is, the more we understand Prabhupada's books and the Goswami's literatures, and we're better prepared to enter into the right attitude and mood of bhakti when we're doing our sadhana practices, when we're doing our service. Everything's dependent on knowledge, whether in spiritual life or in become materially successful. You have to have a strong foundation of the subject matter. So there's no other tradition like this in the world that can compare at all to this wealth of information and getting into the intimate rasas and leelas of Krishna and the intimate devotees and the Bhagavatam. So much. It's just, when you really think about it, it's overwhelming how much is there. So this is all by Prabhupada's immense mercy and compassion on the fallen souls, doing the austerities that he went through to come to the West and start the Hare Krishna movement. And in 10 short years, he did what he had to do. And now we, have to not just continue what he established, but to expand it in many, nuanced ways.
Absolutely, Prabhuji. Definitely, Prabhuji. The Prabhupada's blessings, and we should continue and expanding and spreading this Krishna consciousness in every possible way that we can. And Amaga Prabhu, Sanchit Matsaji, they're always doing the best to serve Krishna.
Sometimes devotees have a bit of a misconception. Yes, everything is there in Prabhupada's books. And everything is there in Prabhupada's books. But when you read Prabhupada's books, many times he's also saying, for further clarification, you got to go to such and such work of the Goswamis, or like that. So we're meant to go above and beyond even Prabhupada's books. That's my point. That's what the Hare Krishna movement is all about. Yes, first and foremost, Prabhupada's books, but above and beyond that, there's a wealth of literature still waiting to be explored, translated, commented on. We're just in the very beginning stages of really what the Chaitanya Gaudiya Vaishnava lineage is all about.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Sham Prabhu, last week I was asking what does the demon Aristashvara represent, and it was like quite complicated. So, and coincidentally, like for the children, they have Krishna class on Saturday, and Radha Sevika Mataji, she teaches them, and Pranchu had got this opportunity to do, she was asking the children to do research on the demons, how it is connected, what sin it represents. So
Yes.
Pranchu had chosen Aristasura, and he did some research. Actually, we did together, and I watched one of Radhanath Maharaj's lecture. So if you allow me, I could there are 2 slides. If I can share the knowledge, then we can connect. Like it's not very big.
Do that, because we just heard that past time. That sounds like a great idea. Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. So Aristasura, yeah. So Aristasura, actually, he was not a bull before. He was one of Kamsa's kinsmen. With his lifetime of tapasya, yogic meditation, austerities, yajna, sacrifice, but it all happened which made him so powerful. But due to bad association, like he became a bull, and the giant bull represents religion. So here, what is his purpose? His purpose is to compete with God or kill God, or in fact become God. But why bull? Why was bull chosen? Actually, bull represents dharma, the 4 legs of dharma, like cleanliness, truthfulness, austerity, compassion towards others. So Arista represented the tendency to take up cheating religion. People of Vrindavan, they loved Krishna, like the Vrajvasis, they loved Krishna, but he was not taking it. Like he had the tendency to cheat them, which violates these 4 principles. As a result, he became proud. He think he can be equal to Krishna, or even like try to kill Krishna. So when the demon entered Vrindavan, the whole land appeared to tremble, as if there were an earthquake. He rode fiercely, and after digging up earth on the riverside, he entered the village. And then this fearful roaring of the bull was so piercing that some of the pregnant cows and women had miscarriages. So here we can see, he has no, what is his goal? His goal was to kill Krishna. At the same time, with everyone in Vrindavan, he had like women and cows, they were having miscarriages. Like he was not thinking about how much suffering is bringing to life. So it was all about him. So it was that's the nature of ego. So that's the main reason why, Aristasura, like the bull demon, was brought here to, kill appointed by Kamsa to kill Krishna. This is towards the end when after this, as you were reading, he sent Akrura and then Dhenukasura, and these are his most fearful ones, but they all get killed. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Very nice, Sanchitji. Thank you so much for sharing about that, Aristasura, because I think that's very important, isn't it? Because there is a certain significance or what they represent. So it is so important, and especially pride, ego, false ego. These things are something which are one of the reasons why we land up into so many issues and in bhakti life.
Yeah, we forget that our real identity is at the lotus feet of Krishna, and to have compassion towards everyone. See Krishna in every being, like his actions, just as he was running so fiercely, the pregnant cows and women, they were getting losing their children and all. So this is like dharma, like how even today's world, like how we can connect it. Like I was very much, keen to know, and then I finally found this Radhanath Maharaj. Is like, it was a small, maybe it was part of a big lecture, but it was 12 minutes one, and he had very nicely related that why bull and why Aristotle represent religion. So
Very nice.
the cheating religion, like how he was doing that, just
Yeah.
trying to be Krishna himself. Other demons, Putana and all, they had like tendency to like kill him, but like he's gone too far.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think
So
that's
I
very
thought I'll just, yeah.
Yeah, this is very important. Thank you so much, Sanchit for sharing that, because that's what it is, isn't it? In devotees association, we can always look further and see like what could be more significance. In fact, Krishna says like he's teaching Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna mainly because he's not envious of him. So I used to think like, who would be envious of Krishna? But these kind of leelas also show that, just to give us this idea that they are, they are entities who are envious of Krishna, also want to become like Krishna also. A cheating religion.
I think the idea is, and it's written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, if I'm not mistaken, these different, what these different leelas represent in terms of anarthas that need to be dealt with. But throughout all these anarthas, you see this repeated mentality, the demoniac mentality to kill Krishna. Kill Krishna, to kill God. God is not real. And ultimately, that is what the Mayavadi is trying to do. That's what the impersonalist is saying. Yes, you can worship Krishna, you purify yourself, become, by worshiping Krishna, but ultimately you're meant to achieve impersonal moksha and become Krishna. Krishna is not real. That's why they're called Mayavadis. Krishna is Maya. So the Mayavadi is also trying to kill Krishna.
Mm.
So within all these anarthas, it's an aspect of Mayavad attitude that's within us on some level.
Very well mentioned, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu, very rightly said, and that's what Aristasura represents. Like, very true. Krishna doesn't need to show anything. Like, his all his six opulences, he doesn't need to show. Like how he lifted Govardhan with his like little finger of the left hand. He killed Putana by sucking his just milk, and and everything. Like he does things. He kills so many demons effortlessly. So. Until we have this mood of bhakti and surrender, we cannot understand the glory. If we try to be like Krishna and one with Krishna, then Lord doesn't give this like benediction to be able to understand that He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's the main realization we should have.
Absolutely. And also, so many things that Krishna has given us for us also to understand, because people can say so many things, impersonalists or atheists, they can say so many things, but Krishna, for the devotees, he's given all these leelas to show us Vishwarupam. He has shown that he has lifted the Govardhan. So all these things are for our devotees to understand, Krishna devotees to understand on a spiritual level about, like when you say Krishna, like these are all personal things which Krishna has personally done to give us this knowledge of of Krishna, and not that we had to just prove to the atheists, because atheists, they always come up with their own kind of a logic, thinking, especially the thought that saying that everybody is God, and that's one of the things which is like a typical Advaita philosophy, very impersonalist philosophy. Thank you, Sanchit Vijay, so much for sharing that. Amoga Prabhu, anything you want to add? Sorry.
No, Prabhuji. So Mataji explained nicely, and you have been explaining nicely. Ramana Sukh Prabhuji explained nicely. Yeah, I'm hearing. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. I'm always happy to have your station, and you're doing so much for Bhagavatam and giving more knowledge and nectar from Bhagavatam as well. So thank you for that. Prabhuji, with your permission for today, we will end over here, and then next week we will just start off with a new chapter from the Krishna book.
Thank you again for a wonderful session. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.